Everything human is a failure compared to ideals. To build a beautiful world of ideals takes only an active imagination, some free time, and a nice vocabulary. But the world people live in is the world of reality. And to make that world decent and free takes much hard work, much sacrifice, and many young men buried under a sea of crosses at places like Normandy and Iwo Jima. Ideals have their value, but ultimately ideal visions are a cheap substitute for reality. For those with a cheap substitute to look down their noses at the real thing is a little much. If America could be summed up in one word, that word would be freedom.
The point Thomas Sowell is making is that even though we may want things to have turned out differently, such as in this political campaign, in the end, we must accept the reality of the situation to have any hope of preserving the freedom and greatness of this beautiful country. And the reality of our situation right now is that we have two choices who can ultimately become president of these United States. And if we want to make use of our important individual vote, then we must choose between these two candidates. There are many people who in 2012 loved Dr. Ron Paul, and because he did not get the nomination, these people did not vote for the eventual nominee, Mitt Romney. They sat out or voted third party. Many of these people, including myself, regret this after seeing the horrors of Barack Obama's foreign policy, the crippling effects of Obamacare, and the corruption and lies that we are seeing unfold before our very eyes right now. We did not love Romney, but he undoubtedly would have been the better choice. And that is the cold, hard reality.
I'm not a special pleader for Trump. I am let's stop Hillary. But I'm not going to ignore the facts. Trump has proposed a far more conservative education plan than McCain or Romney ever have. Trump's position on taxes are much more Reagan-esque than McCain and Romney's positions ever were. Trump has put out a list of individuals from which he will select nominees, solid, each and every one of them. Trump's immigration plan is far more conservative and sensible than McCain's or Romney's. His position on education, school choice, is far more cutting edge than McCain or Romney ever proposed. His desire to rebuild the United States military, believe it or not, is far more solid than the chairman of the current Senate Armed Services Committee, John McCain. If you're a radical pro-abortion politician, how does that help women? How does that help female babies? Hillary Clinton has taken the most radical position of any candidate in my memory when it comes to abortion. That is, abortion on demand, anytime. 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 Including right before the time of birth. Now, ladies and gentlemen, those of you who've had children, those of you who've seen the birth of a baby, you know how horrendous that is. That's not a choice. Killing a baby seconds before it's born is not a choice. It's killing a baby. No humane society should sanction that. If you don't want the baby, fine. Then the baby should be put up for adoption. But you don't kill the baby seconds before birth. It is not a choice. It is a human being. And when you say that, how are you against women? You're for humanity. Now, does anybody know Evan McMillan's position on this? Who's that, Mark? Oh, he's the great third-party candidate that they dragged off Capitol Hill, a staffer. What's his position on law enforcement? Anybody know? What's his position on, I don't know. Did he put out a list of Supreme Court justices? I don't know. People are voting for him to stop Trump, which means to elect Hillary. Because that's the way it works out. That's what we call reality.
This video is entitled The Case for Donald Trump because I want the people who are on the fence, especially hesitant Republicans and conservatives, to know that their vote is valuable. This is going to be a tight election. Our country's future depends on all of us making a tough but proper choice. Aside from the issues Mark Levin pointed to, let's not forget that Trump is our only hope to repeal Obamacare, to protect our Second Amendment, to actually respect our police officers instead of immediately jump to race baiting for political gain like the Democrats, to call out the disgustingly biased media which has been exposed as partners in crime and cover-up with Hillary Clinton via WikiLeaks. And Trump is our only legitimate hope to go after ISIS and radical Islamic terrorism, which Hillary Clinton won't even name because of political correctness gone amok. And speaking of political correctness, Donald Trump in just the last few months has red-pilled more people than the last 3 Republican nominees ever could in decades. I truly hope that this video has at least shown you both the importance of your vote and the importance of using your vote productively, which, in reality, ought to be a vote for our nominee, Donald J. Trump.